In what can be described as a boost and an encouragement to the education sector at the start of the year, 10 universities received $8 million each from the World Bank as part of efforts to shore up its research capacities and improve facilities to meet international best practice. Barely 2 months after the good news, the sector was thrown into a new kind of crisis. Over 200 schoolgirls were abducted at night by the militant Islamic group Boko Haram from the hostels in Chibok village, Borno State. Since their disappearance, many families in the violence-torn areas were displaced, while some withdrew their children from schools, giving further setback to the government's drive to provide education for all. The international response to the Bring Back Our Girls campaign produced mixed reactions.
Where shall we start?
But the sector recorded greater financial support from the international business leaders. They pledged $10 million for the government's Safe School initiative, which later kicked off 6 months after.
We have identified 800 students per state for a total of 2,400 students. There are about 42 schools or so that will receive them. The principals and everybody, they've been sensitized, and we are going to commence the launch of this immediately. The students will go on full scholarship.
The emergence of a new Minister of Education in the middle of the year brought more breakthroughs in the system. The one-year strike action by COASU was resolved.
If a federal government college in, let's say, another local government in Borno State had to be closed down because of the insurgency, we identify the students, we transfer them either to a federal government college in Bauchi or in Jos. So the challenges are so multiple, and this is what we now want to call attention to. Bring up new ideas to train the teachers and school managers to know how to now face the challenge of managing 200 schools. Suddenly you are managing, a new principal is managing a school of 2,000, 3,000.
More questions came up for the government. Despite allocating more than $1.3 billion for the sector between 2009 and 2013, Nigeria is still struggling to deliver good education to millions of children. For this purpose, Pakistan girls education activist Malala visited Nigeria on a fact-finding mission in July.
At the time that I was leading the education sector in the country, we had serious issues of the quality of the teachers in the classroom. Basic education is the fundamental bedrock of an educational system. So if you got the wrong sets of teachers in the classroom, you immediately would ruin the kind of learning outcomes that children should have.
The sector not only had to contend with fixing this problem, but also with the fear of the Ebola virus disease, which broke out, confining school children at home for weeks amidst controversies. Just as stakeholders began a national education summit in October, the National Universities Commission called for a revamping of the research culture in Nigeria, while monitoring what many students describe as successful, the Presidential Special Scholarship Scheme for Innovation and Development in the United States.
When they have interacted with other clients, universities in other states, you come back a changed man. They have had a longer university culture than we've had. So we're also trying to engage the system by saying, if you earn your 3 degrees here, take 1 year, what they call the postdoctoral. So by the time these fellows that we're staying abroad and pressing and NYSC scholarship come home, my dear, there'll be a lot of interaction. You form the nucleus. You call what I call them the change agent that will require the system. It will work.
The year ended heartbeat positively with a call for a proper implementation of the professional qualifying examination for teachers to help halt the trend of persistent students' failure in examinations.
Now, in spite of the challenges for the sector in the year 2014, many support the idea that a stronger commitment from state governments, especially in the areas of security and infrastructure, would prompt the much-needed change in the sector in 2015. Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.